So I'm Christopher Vandonkelaar, artist and iconographer in Conestoga, Ontario. I was the Cambridge Centre for the Arts Artist in Residence for 2008. So an iconographer is someone who paints usually within a church tradition and someone who usually participates in sacred art. Because of the way I've approached this art form, I had a desire to attempt what at that point was not entirely worked out, but the idea of a 100-mile piece of artwork. And so an artwork which would be created using exclusively materials from within 100 miles of a location. It also fit really well because with what the Cambridge Centre for the Arts is doing, being somewhat locally based and in a city which certainly has a lot of local efforts going on, it allowed for something to be created which sort of celebrated the region. And so that was nice as well. One of the things that was fun about the project was going around, of course, collecting rocks. Traditionally, rocks make your most permanent colors. This is from Orland, some interesting river rocks. This is Hematite, which is an iron-based rock from Sault Ste. Marie. And it makes just a beautiful, beautiful red, as you can imagine. And these are simply river rocks from Conestoga. Conestoga actually had a pigment mill until the 1890s when it burned down. And if you still go back there and you take a bit of time, you can find these beautiful rocks. That one's not doing so well, but which you can make beautiful colors with. If I took a piece of the Cambridge ochre, this is the color, one of the colors that was really exciting to find. This is actually basically a weathered pyrite. And you put it in here and you pulverize it. So there are many ways you can do that. I have a nice little micro mill you can use that looks far more scientific, but if you're had a bad day, this is really the best thing you can do. And these rocks being so very soft are just absolutely wonderful. So you can't really see that very well, but if I hold it like that. And then, of course, to make paint out of it, all you have to do is go over here. This would be good if I was going to make a very rough kind of crayon. As far as this goes, what you do is, right, you got a beautiful color here. I'll take some of it over here. Now, we'll just do a little bit. You might want to cover your ears for this. It's not pleasant. And basically, you can keep doing that for quite some time. The longer you do it, the brighter the color will get. But as you can see, you already have something which at least is showing what direction we're going in. And if I took this and mixed it with some egg yolk, which I don't have right now, but you can paint with that. So basically, that is the color and the way I created it for both the background here and for the frame. In the frame's case, it's pure. In the background color, I lightened it a little bit with white, just because it was going to be too dark for the actual back figures. But there's one of the main colors for this icon, and that's the source of it. So one of the really fun colors, probably my favorite color from the Cambridge Artist in Residency, was making a color called Mae Blue. It was out of necessity. We don't live in an area that has a lot of copper, and therefore I had to look for a different source. And the one that I knew, at least it existed in the area for about 300 years, is from a plant called Woad. Now, more usual than not, it's used in dyeing, but still, by taking the first-year plants, which is what these are examples of, by taking these leaves, you cut them, and you make a tea, really. And then aerate that tea. And it's really kind of magical, actually, because you end up with a very greenish tea, and it's just greeny goo. And you aerate for a couple minutes, and all of a sudden the whole thing turns blue. After making that, that tea, of course you have to wash it out, and it's very simple. You just put clean water in it, let the madder sink to the bottom, pour it out, kind of decanter it carefully like you would with wine, and you put more water in it. And eventually, after a while, you end up with this, which is a very nice blue. It's also then the color that I used in the final icon in the robes of Adam. Over here. So in the blue heron, of course, the sky, the robes of Adam, and the river. That's all from that color. So, and again, here's some other colors, right? Another attempt at actually probably a better attempt using the lead to make a brighter color. But everything here from seashells to, that's again another attempt at the plants using that. An earlier attempt actually, it wasn't an instant success of making red, by the way, I just edited it to the end there. So here's an earlier attempt at something which turned out okay, I guess it's reddish, but it's not, wasn't good enough for what we wanted, so. Anyway, there's the kind of idea, right? And what you end up with then is a whole lot of these, along with a log of the days, which went on for a long time. Let me just say. So just logs after logs, and each one is numbered then as to, okay, well, this was the attempt. So usually the short entries are the disappointed ones. Well, within my own practice, what's been really interesting is you sometimes think that the things that are you find locally are sort of second rate. Even in the local food movement, I sometimes get the idea that there's two camps. Half of them are making up for something and suffering and flogging themselves and for some reason feeling good about that. The other half are actually really excited about what the region has to offer. And so in a sense, they're celebrating something which is local. What surprised me in the end was that there are a number of colors and materials that I've ended up now incorporating into my regular practice. So the Mae Blue color, which I mentioned earlier, is a beautiful, beautiful blue. It certainly isn't one that I would have discovered otherwise. It took a lot of time and effort, and I really had to have a purpose to stick with it that long. But because I did, I now have a color which I will use, hopefully, to the day I keel over and drop my paintbrush. So it was really exciting to have those opportunities. The opportunity to make mistakes is a wonderful learning tool. To have things not work out, horribly not work out, and have to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, so now what actually happened here? Because that didn't work at all. Just absolutely wonderful learning material. We also had some classes at that time, which invited everything from children to other artists to come along at different times, different locations to participate in this. And I really do hope that some of them, I don't doubt that some of them now will continue some of this in their own practices, right? But as far as City of Cambridge goes, I mean, I think that really what I did largely participated in what the city's already doing and in what the Cambridge Centre for the Arts was already doing. It wasn't something that I set direction for, it's something that I was able to participate in because the environment was already there.